It's day 436 off the grid, and it's quite an overcast day today. It is possible we might run the generator tonight, but I'm not entirely sure yet. We haven't run it at all in March yet, and we're getting a lot more overcast days. Things seem to be working out pretty well with the solar. Probably partially due to this new panel here in a good winter position that you can see right through the window. That's the quick and dirty mount one. It's performing well. But today it's not exactly solar I'm doing. Here we have some lantern batteries. Just going to flick on another light here. Might help a little. Maybe even this one. There we go. Some lantern batteries. Now this here is what we've been using to run the LV-Pin audio amplifier for our Beltane recordings. And I bought these batteries from Super Cheap Auto just before the Samhain of 2015, so I'm going to replace them now a few days before the autumnal equinox of 2016, so sort of basically half a season under a year they have been suitable for Beltane's purposes. Admittedly though, we haven't done all our recordings outdoors over that time, so some of those recordings have been from main supply where we haven't had to need these, but yeah. But I've been so pleased with the performance of just having these primary batteries that I'm not going to bother at this stage in going back to secondary batteries, i.e. rechargeable batteries. I just bought these before the Samhain because I just wanted again a quick and dirty method of getting our 12 volt supply without having to mess around finding some more batteries and stuff. But yeah, it's really good because it means I don't have to worry about recharging them, or more importantly forgetting to recharge them just before we go out on one of our missions. In one case I even left a battery at home because I had it on the charger the day we were going to do a recording, which wasn't that great, although we did have a way around it. So yeah, I'm quite liking just using the primary batteries. It's a few dollars, but these aren't terribly expensive. Right, I just thought I'd show how these batteries are still performing. Although I'm retiring them now and going to these new Vata super heavy duties, there's no point in the alkaline, they're far too expensive. These were only $4 something, $4.88 or something each, whereas an alkaline equivalent would be about $14 each, and that's starting to get a bit pricey, you know. So, you know, less than $10 and you've got a pair of batteries that can last, you know, well, I would say safely 6 months if we use them on every season. So, after nearly a year of use, let's see how these sit. This battery here, 6.1 volts, not bad. And its companion, oh, I can get that probe out, there we go. .1 volts as well. So clearly they've got quite a lot of life in them. If I had a lantern torch I could use them up in that, but I don't. So they'll probably end up being boost batteries on the battery bank, which is now called battery bank F, because the ones I've got on there are probably just about shot. They'll last in that role for years. Okay, I just wanted to show the voltage of a brand new one, just so you can get a comparison. 6.6, so you know it's a fair bit higher than the flat ones, you know, but not significantly so. So these are hardly flat, but nevertheless I'm replacing them because, being dry cells, as they reduce in voltage their internal resistance rises quite steeply, and they're getting to the point now where although they probably have plenty of juice left in them, they can't supply it fast enough to keep a digital audio amplifier running at a volume that we need for some of our recordings. So yeah, oh, the capacitor across here, that's just to help lower the supply impedance on transients like deep bass notes or whatever, and that does help, that does improve things, and that will be transferred onto the new batteries. So, and this of course hardwired leads, so I'll just be doing it the same, soldering to the springs, and that's that basically. So better get on to it. I'll show you them when they're finished. And here's the final result. Done things a little bit differently this time, apart from using obviously red tape. For a start, I didn't go down right to the bottom of the terminals and be so anal about that, because that just kind of melted the plastic a bit on the battery, and I don't think there was any real advantage in doing so, so I just made easier terminations. Further to the top of the spring, I did terminate the main feed wires in 2 places just for reliability. And also this time around I decided to glue the capacitor using some hot melt glue to the top of the battery, see? Rather than taping it to the side here. I'm just thinking for packing away, that makes sort of a more sort of slender kind of, you know, more sort of streamlined package for packing it up with the gear. Because you can't really put anything much on top of this anyway, so whether I regret this or not, we'll find out over the next year. I did make one little stuff up. I actually was so eager to connect these wires, I actually connected them round the wrong way initially, and good thing I checked that before putting a load on it. Oh, I also wrapped the wire around the first piece of tape that holds the batteries together, and then I went over it with another round or 2 of tape just to make sure that all the force of that wire being tugged, which is not much anyway, is not going to be transferred onto these connections. So I think it's just a little bit more robust. And finally, I've got this 24 volt bulb connected up just to show that it works. It's not very spectacular because it's a 24 volt bulb being fed from about 13 volts, but yeah, it works. Oh, and while I'm at it, this is my new reel of solder from Super Cheap Auto. Not sure how good it is actually, but it seems to tin alright. Seems to go a little bit dull grey, like a dry joint on just about every connection, but I'm certain these aren't dry joints. It doesn't stay as shiny as my previous reel, which was probably a lot better quality solder, but that reel was coming to an end after about 5 years, so we'll see how long this one lasts. That's it. I better turn this off now and save the batteries for Beltane, and yeah, there we go. Day 436 off the grid.